Hi, today we're going to do a tutorial in iMovie. To get started, the first thing we're going to do is create a new project. In order to do that, we're going to hit the plus sign right here, or you can also do that by hitting Command N. We're going to select No Theme, and then we're going to type in the name of our project. You can hit automatically add cross dissolve. That's automatically going to put transitions in between each of your clips. I'm not going to select that right now, and I'm going to show you later how to add in transitions another way. So we're going to hit create and get started. First thing that you're going to want to do is add in your files in order to start working on your project. So the easiest way to add in photos is to go into Finder and just drag and drop your photos into iMovie. I'm going to do the same thing with my narration here. And then, next we'll look at the layout of iMovie real quick. This is my project sequence. This is where I view the work that is going to become my final project. This represents a timeline of video and audio that represents my movie. This is the display window in which you watch your work, and then this big window down here will change depending on what we're working on. Now the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to add in video. The easiest way to add in video is click down here in the event library, hit File, Import, Movies, and then I'm going to just select my video file that I want to add. Now, what iMovie is going to do is it's going to put it into what they call an event down here. And so it's not going to be a part of your project yet. And this is helpful because I'll be able to select exactly what part of that video I want to put in my project, and I won't have to be cutting out everything I don't want. So now that that's done, you see that I have a representation of my video down here that I can watch and scroll over with my mouse in order to find the exact part that I want. So if I do that, I can say I like this part right here. Now I'm going to click and drag what I want. I'm going to do 2 seconds of that clip. And now that I have what I wanted selected, I can just click and drag that into my project. And now, in my project, I have that video. Now click and drag is the same. You can rearrange your files by doing that in your project. So if I want to move some photos around or some video around, I can just click them and drag them to the place I want them. Now the next thing we're going to work on is, if I would hit play here, in order to play your video, you press the space bar, same for pausing. You'll hear that the video I added in has background noise that's covering up the narration that I put in. So if I hit play, that background noise is very loud. So I'm actually going to take out the audio of this movie clip. Now if I go into the audio waveform right here that's beneath my video, I can get a crosshairs here. And if I drag that down, I can adjust the volume of my video. I'm going to bring that all the way down to 0 so it's gone. And if I hit play on my project again, you can hear my narration clearly. The University of Minnesota, founded in 1851, is a prestigious and proud place to learn. Though over 100... Oh, it appears I put in second piece on accident. So I'm going to just select that and hit delete. And that's gone. So now the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put in some transitions. Now if you hit automatically add, the transitions are already in. I'm going to go over here though to this area and I'm going to click this box. And that's going to bring up a transition menu. Now if I scroll over each transition, it's going to give me an example of what that transition is going to do. I'm going to select cross dissolve, and I'm going to click and drag it in between my clips. Cross dissolve tends to be a simple and professional looking transition. It tends to be used a lot and it works really nicely. So I'm just going to select and place this in between. And now that that's done, I'll have transitions between each of my clips. And one of the key things that you're going to be wanting to do in iMovie is adjust the position, the length of your clips, your transitions, so that you can get a nice flow and pace for your video. A really nice way to edit the duration of your clips and your transitions is Precision Editor. So if you notice, when I highlight a clip or a transition or any clip really, I'll get this blue gear here at the beginning of the clip. If I click on that, one of my options is the Precision Editor. So we're going to go into that, and we're going to get this window down here. To navigate this, I can click on the dots, and I can look at the different transitions between my clips. So if I go to the first one here, this line and blue dot represents the start of my clip right now. So anything to the left of this is not going to be seen in my video. So if I drag it farther to the left, my clip will be shorter. If I drag it farther to the right, my clip will be longer. Now if I go to the next one, this represents the transition between the two. So because I have a transition in here, it's there's two lines. The first line represents the start of my transition, and the second line represents the end of my transition. So the first line, anything on the second clip that is before it is not going to be seen, and anything that's on the first clip is going to be seen. And same with the second line, anything after that in the first clip is not going to be seen, and anything after with the second clip is what you are going to see. So if I would drag this over a bit, I'm making my second clip longer. And then I can edit the transition by clicking on this arrows here. I can either move it from side to side, or if I go to the edge, I'll get my little crosshairs and I can drag it to make it longer. Now you can go through and adjust your clips and transitions accordingly, like this. And it's a very easy way to get the length of your clips right, get your transitions right, and work on the overall flow of your piece. Now if I go out of this, click done, another way that I can edit my transitions is if I go into one of the transition gears, whichever one I'm trying to work on, so let's go on this one, and go to the transition adjustments. Now here, I can set my time, I can type in a time that I want my transition to be. So if I want 1 second transition there, I can just hit 1 and type in 1 and hit enter, and then I get it done. The other thing I can do in here is I can change my transition. If I go here, I can change my mind about what transition I want in that spot. We're going to leave it as cross dissolve though, and we're going to be done. You can edit clips in a similar fashion. If I go to the gear on a clip, and I go into clip adjustments, I can change the duration of the clip. So it's 2.9 seconds, but I really want that to be 3. This works really good for photos because it's just still. It's a little bit different for videos. I'll show that in a second. The other thing you can do is select a video effect. Now iMovie gives a bunch of filters that will change the look of your photo or video. So as you see as I'm scrolling over this, it's giving a different lighting and look to my photo. So some of these are pretty nice. So if I would want to say select that one, it gives a lot different look to my photo than it was before. The same thing with video. If I go into clip adjustments, I can change the duration, and then I can select an effect just like I did for my photo, You can also choose an audio effect. Now you're probably going to stay away from these. Some of these are kind of crazy. You also have options like changing the speed of your video. Smooth clip motion is helpful if your video is shaky. And a bunch of effects that you can use in there. They also have an editor called Video under your tab here, and this gives you a little bit more of your advanced controls of your exposure, your brightness, your contrast. If you don't know how to work with these controls, it's not a big deal. There is an auto button here, down here, that iMovie tries to do it for you, and it tries to adjust the levels of your picture or video accordingly. So that might be helpful. I'm going to click Done. The other thing that you might want to do or need to do in iMovie is create titles. In order to do that, I'm going to go over here and click on the little T. And then I get a bunch of options for titles that I can use. Now some of them are animated. Got a Star Wars one down here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this centered here before my first photo. Now it's going to ask me to select a background. I have a bunch of options here. I'm just going to hit paper. And I'm going to type in the name of my movie. And then in here I can go to show fonts, and it's going to give me a font editor. So I can select multiple fonts, change the color of my font and the size. I can also go into System Font Panel, and I get a little bit more of a complete options for my fonts and style options. Done on that. If we look now, I'm going to shorten this up. So I'm going to go to the gear and go clip adjustments. I'm going to make that 2 seconds because that's a long transition. I can also rechange my background in the clip editor. So I'm going to hit done. Now, if you look, I changed the background, but I didn't change the length of the title. So the title goes onto the first clip. If I want to fix that, I can just go to the edge and drag it back so it's shorter. Now you can also do the same with credits. There's a nice scrolling credits option. If I want the credits to be over this bridge scene here, I can do that. All I do is I select that credits option and I put it on my clip, and I can type in who I want it to star, change the name, put credits here, and then once again you can make that longer if you want. So the nice thing about this, if I hit play, it's going to scroll over, and that went pretty quickly. The longer you make it, the slower it goes. So if I bring it over here, and now I extend it, it's going to play a lot slower, and you'll be able to read the credits better. So that's your titles. And that's basically the main concepts that you need to know in order to work in iMovie. There's also cropping and rotation and all that. If you go into here, you can adjust what part of your photo you have in. You can rotate it, and then you have some options in here for the positioning and movement of your photo, but that's not really that important to mess with. That's mainly it for the concept of iMovie. Layout options, you have the slider here that will change your keyframes. Each line here you have a different frame of your video. So right here we only have one for this guy because it's a short film. But if I go back to a half second, we'll have two. So the concept of this is the time that you have it shown for every clip you see a frame for that amount of time. So every half second you're seeing a frame. And you can slide that accordingly. That's nice for condensing your work or seeing more detail. The other option is you can select it to be a single timeline instead of vertical view where it wraps around, and this shows it all as one continuous timeline. And those are just stylistic things. You can record in iMovie. That's one more thing I should mention. And if I select a clip, I can click the microphone. I just click the clip to begin, and it's going to record. It's going to tell me to get ready, and now I'm recording, and I can make my narration. And now I click out of this, I have my narration. Let me get ready, and now I'm recording. So those are the most basic concepts in iMovie. The next thing you're going to want to do, obviously when you're done playing around and making your video perfect, is to export your video so that you have your complete file outside of iMovie. In order to do this, we're going to go up to Share and Export. You can also do this by Command E. And you're going to get this window, and you can name your movie, select where you want it to go, and select the quality that you want. Now the biggest thing with the quality, it's really nice to have a full HD movie, but sometimes those files can get big, so if you're putting it online or sending it to someone, you might have to select a smaller quality for the sake of having a smaller file so that you can upload or move it wherever you want. So when you're got all your settings set, you can hit export, and when that's done, we're going to have a final project, and we're going to be all set to go and watch our movie. So now that that's done, I have my video here in my folder, and if I click that to play, I would get QuickTime open, and my video would be ready to play. The University of Minnesota, founded in 1851, is a prestigious and proud place to learn. Though over 140 majors offered at the university allows for it to be home for 52,000 students. The scenic campus, friendly and open community, and vast opportunities for success make the University of Minnesota the place to be. So that's the basics of iMovie. As you can see, there might have been some things that I would have messed around more if I was making a movie. It's a lot about spending time and getting things to look how you want to look. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching.